Hey, what's going on, guys? So I had a request to do a tactics video, and this is what I'm bringing to you guys now. These are my tactics. It might not work for you, so if you have a different playstyle, let me know what kind of tactics you'd like to see, and I'll do some for you that you can use. But basically, I'm a high pressure type of player, so at the beginning of the game, I press a lot, try to get an advantage on the opponent. Usually if the player isn't very good or I'm just a little better than them, if you pressure them, you don't give them time to think. And it allows you to take the lead, and then you can cruise through the rest of the game. So let's get into the tactics. So to start, I'm going to show you the tactic that I use at the beginning of the game. So when I go into the game, this is the balanced one. It's the default one that I have. I adjusted the depth to have my defenders sit inside my box, like just on the edge of my box, so that I'm not getting countered too easily. A lot of players will park the bus and then try to counter you, and if your center backs are too high up, you'll get stuck. So this is what I go into the game by default. And then my first adjustment is to go to ultra defense. It's called ultra defense, but the tactics that I have set are the constant pressure ones. So I have a constant pressure, so as soon as one of his players gets the ball, 1 or 2 or 3 of my players are already pressing him. It doesn't allow him to turn or to pass because they intercept it very quickly. So then my width, I have average width. I'm using the 4-1-2-1-2 wide, so it's already kind of wide, so I don't need to spread them out anymore on defense. And then my depth, I have them really high up so that they're constantly pressuring. They're not pressing inside my box, they're pressing on their edge. They're not pressuring inside my box, they're pressing at the midfield, so I'm recovering the ball a lot faster, and it's giving them less chances to basically attack. Then fast build up, I like playing it very quick, so fast build up allows your players to move faster, like they're getting into open spaces a lot quicker. The only downside of playing like this is that you're very susceptible to counter attacks. So when you're playing very quickly, if you make a mistake and they intercept the ball, your players are rushing forward. So that second that they take to react to turn back, your opponent's coming down the wing and then crossing it on you. So then I have the attacking width really wide. I like my wingers coming in from the sides, so I'll pass it down the wing to one player, and then I'll do an R1 triangle, switching it all the way to the other side on like it's like a ground through ball. It's really overpowered. I'll do that inside the box, and then you just get a nice clean goal with the opposite winger. I put a lot of players in the box just like for rebounds, for being able to pass it inside their box, although that is kind of difficult this year with people AI defending. But if you have, the more players you have inside the box, the more likely you are to get a rebound or to be able to do a couple combination passes inside to get a goal. And then for corners and free kicks, I don't put many up there just because I don't want to get countered, and I don't want to have constantly have all my players inside the box. If I have 1 or 2 set piece plays that I do, so I don't really need a lot of players if I know what I'm doing. I just need the 2 players in there that I'm going to use. So then, now if we look at the defensive one, this is pretty basic. It's what they'll give you, but I've used possession. I'm not sure if the default one is possession. So when I'm playing defensive, this is basically when I'm up. When I'm up in the last few minutes, I'll go to defensive. My team will drop back, and the width is very narrow. You could go 3 or 4. Either one of these is fine. It'll make your team a lot more compact when defending. And then the depth right inside of the box. And then for offense, you use possession because you want your offensive players to come to you. So when you get the ball back, you don't want your players sprinting away from you. You want to have an option to pass to. So you put it on possession, and then your players will come to you, and you won't have to like lob the ball up and give them another chance to score. You can just keep the ball from then on. And then the width, pretty normal. Basically balanced. You don't want your players too wide so that you can't get the ball, especially when they apply constant pressure. if someone goes constant pressure on you and you're playing possession and you have your team really wide, you're gonna have to do really long switches to try to get a pass off, and they can intercept those and then counter you. And then you don't really need too many attacking options, so I just put 4 bars of players in the box. You don't need a lot. You can even go less, really. What you're basically trying to do with this tactic is run out the clock. Okay, so now we're moving on to the attacking one. So what I have set for this is press after possession loss. So they'll press the opposing player kind of like constant pressure, like the same way that constant pressure works, but it only lasts for about 7 seconds, and then they go back to the regular, like basically not pressing, just holding back, jockeying, in other words. And then the width, it's average width. This is just so I don't like my team being too wide on defense because it leaves a lot of spaces in the middle. And then the depth, you want a little bit more depth in this tactic. You want your players to press higher up. You don't want them pressing outside your box, especially with a wide formation. If they're pressing right outside your box, you're leaving a lot of gaps in the middle. The attacking one is pretty basic. You're doing fast build-up. Your width is somewhat narrow, and you have plenty of players in the box, plenty of players on corners, and free kicks. So this one is if you're trying to get a lead and you're down. So like let's say you're down a goal, I switch to this. If I'm down a goal, I switch to this one to get the lead back, or to equalize and then get the lead. But this is not the formation I use in the last few minutes when I'm losing. If it's the last 10-15 minutes, if it's the last 10 minutes and I'm down by a goal and I want to score, I actually switch formations. Regardless of what I'm using, I switch to this one. I put everybody attacking. So as you see, it's 3-4-2-1, but basically you have 7 players outside their box attacking, and I also put my defense on play like strikers, and I put constant pressure. So this is overwhelming pressure. You'll get the ball back consistently. You have to be very careful with this formation. If you get countered, it's a goal for sure, unless you're extremely good at defending one-on-ones. So the width, narrow defensively, once again, very narrow, because you're gonna have 3 defenders back there. So you keep your team very narrow, and then the depth all the way up. It's the same as basically the attacking one. A fast build-up, evenish width, everybody in the box, everybody in corners, everybody on free kicks. And for this one, I'll show you this. So for the center backs, I put play as a striker and aggressive interceptions, and for every other player, I put aggressive interceptions. So you want your players to constantly be pressuring and trying to get the ball back. This is basically you throw everything at them and hope you can score. I've come back from 2-goal deficits in under like 5 minutes from using this formation. I got very good at using it, so if I'm ever down, I switch to this formation. I sub out the fullback, one of the fullbacks and one of the center mids, and just put in a striker in that position. It's very effective and it helps you get goals quick. And then for all the other formations, the custom tactics, the instructions that I use for them, for the fullbacks is stay back while attacking. The CDM, same thing, stay back while attacking. I don't touch the cam. And then for one of the wingers, I put stay wide, as you can see here. And then for the other one, I put cut inside. So you want basically different options. So I cut inside with Salah and finesse it opposite post. And then with Son, I stay wide and try to out-dribble the fullback. Then I'll alternate. Maybe halftime I'll switch them just to keep the opponent on their toes. And then for one of the strikers, I put get in behind. And then for the other one, I'm supposed to have drift wide. You want one of them drifting wide, pulling one of the center backs out and creating space in the middle. So yeah, basically that's the custom tactics that I have for pressing. If you're playing against an opponent that you want to press, that you want to attack, these are the tactics you want to use. If you're more of a possession player, I can also make some tactics for you. I've played possession, counterattack, and pressing. If you're a very defensive player, I can also make some tactics for you. Just let me know what you want to watch. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment, subscribe, share the link, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.